Welcome to the Laverne Church of the Brethren's weekly audio message. Here at the Laverne Church of the Brethren, we create a Christian community called by Christ to be inclusive, caring, and peace-minded. We affirm that people of any race, ethnic identity, gender identity, sexual orientation, ability, age, economic status, faith tradition, or life situation are welcome in our congregation. We believe in compassionate service, stewardship of creation, respect for diversity, and nonviolent reconciliation for differences among all people, nations, and faith traditions. We claim no creed but the New Testament as exemplified by the life of Christ. We strive to follow the way of Jesus. And through these efforts, we seek to grow ever closer to the mind and heart of God. And now let us ground ourselves as we enter into today's message.
Our second reading is an epistle from Ephesians. Hear these words of the apostle. So Christ himself gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors and teachers to equip his people for works of service, so that the body of Christ may be built up, until we all reach the unity of faith and in the knowledge of the Son of God, and become mature, attaining to the whole measure of the fullness of Christ. At the top of our bulletin was a quote from Gandhi. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service of others. This morning we are celebrating those who have given themselves to service, and we're honoring the service ministries of the Church of the Brethren. And so I'll invite Deb nicely to come forward and share about her experience in Brethren Disaster Ministries. And then we'll follow her by Hannah Nelson. But between the sharings, we'll sing a verse from Will You Let Me Be Your Servant?
Good morning. My name's Deborah Nicely, and I'm going to share my experience that I had with the BDM, Brethren Disaster Ministries. Well, I'm a purpose-driven gal who truly enjoys helping other people, working on projects, and solving complicated tasks. I have a quote that I live by, and I'm going to share with you. There's no such thing as a problem. There are only solutions in the making. The purpose of BDM is to get people back into their homes after a disaster. The people we work for are families and individuals that are handicapped or who have lost or run out of their insurance money and can't afford to pay to finish the projects in rebuilding their homes. So, our BDM crew goes out there to help them. Products used to rebuild the homes come from donations and discounts. Now, I'm a newcomer at BDM, and I participated with BDM over the past 3 years, and it's been such a rewarding experience. 2 years, we worked in Kentucky at Dawson Springs, and this past year, we worked in homes in Mountain City in Tennessee. BDM offers year-round projects of different districts that want to participate, and they go at different times of the year. We're from the Pacific Southwest District, and since we're so far away, we go for 2 weeks, usually late in October and early November. Our district pays for our expenses, such as our flight, where we stay, our residence, our food, etc. And we stay in churches and facilities that are close to where we're working. All the equipment is provided by the Church of the Brethren. The trucks that we get to drive, and the vans, and the tools, and the supplies, even our food and the beds we sleep in. In Kentucky, we stayed in the Habitat for Humanity warehouse, where they built this amazing cabin inside for us to stay. It was so cool. And in Tennessee, we stayed inside a church. The projects that we worked on towards the final projects that enable the people to get back into their homes were such things like setting up installation and drywall, painting, flooring, outdoor siding, installing cabinets, and household appliances. And if you like to stand on tall ladders, this is a good project to work on. It was such an amazing opportunity to meet with the people that needed help with their homes, and just getting to know them and chatting with them and even sharing memories. The other thing is that BDM offered us 3 meals a day. We had delicious home-cooked breakfast every day. And we pack our lunch boxes with salads and snacks and sandwiches and everything. And then we'd also get a fabulous home-cooked meal at dinner. We helped with the kitchen staff and cleaning up and washing the dishes and everything. And then in the evening, we shared devotions with our group, our team, and we mingled around with each other and we played games. Sometimes other crew members came from different cities, and it was just such a pleasure in getting to know them. The people that I went with from our church that I've had the opportunity to team up with are Dot Hess, Mark Olson, Deb Waz, Tim Brayton, and John Blickenstaff, who now lives in Palm Springs. So, if you're interested, join BDM. And you can have a chat with Nancy McCrickard. Did I say it right? and join us, because it's so fun, it's so amazing, and it just keeps your heart going. So BDM is a true blessing.
Anna Nelson has shared a video with us about her current experience in BVS. She snowed in Washington, D.C., but was able to prepare a video for us on her experience.
Hi, I'm Hannah. Some of you might know me because I grew up in the Laverne Church of the Brethren, but you might not have seen me for a while. I was at the University of San Francisco, where I graduated in May of 2024, and then in September I started Brethren Volunteer Service. I'm a volunteer at the Office of Peace Building and Policy for the Church of the Brethren in Washington, D.C., and our goal is to share the Brethren perspective in federal policy advocacy. We work on issues in peace building and foreign policy, but also things like environmental advocacy or immigration advocacy. This can look like signing on to letters to members of Congress or attending meetings with congressional staffers. We might help organize an educational event or attend a protest or public action. We also help explain policy issues to members of the Church of the Brethren and encourage them to get involved. So this can include sending out action alerts when there's important legislation, and encouraging people to contact their elected officials. I also help with an environmental advocacy newsletter for the church called Rooted that explains how to make more sustainable lifestyle choices and also accompany them with policy advocacy. And we also help with workshops at events like Annual Conference, or last spring, I helped organize Christian Citizenship Seminar for high school age youth to come to Washington, D.C. and learn about policy advocacy and meet with the offices of their elected representatives. Areas that I'm currently working on include an Asia policy working group that we're a part of that works on U.S.-China relations and other issues in the region. I'm also doing our environmental work at the moment, and I have done some work on the U.S. arms trade and weapons sales to other countries, including writing a resolution about the issue that is going to Annual Conference. I've found meaning through this volunteer placement in a number of ways. For me, I studied politics in college, so I knew that this is a kind of work that I would like to do in the future. But having the ability to work in Washington, D.C. and do advocacy in a way that is aligned with ideas I think are important, like peace building and environmental advocacy, has helped me see how I might take my personal interest and develop it into a meaningful career for myself. But I don't think that you can only pursue service that is relevant to a career or some other goal. I think it is a very difficult and unusual time to be working in policy, especially at the federal level, and just to care about the issues that we're working on. But I've also found a lot of hope through engaging on these issues. I've met a lot of people that are working on similar issues, like through some interfaith working groups that we're in DC. I've met a lot of people that have been working on these issues for years. I've also met people within the church that are taking action, whether it's emailing me after I sent out an action alert to tell me that they emailed all of their members of Congress and senators, or just hearing stories from within the church about how people are helping their immigrant church members feel safe. And it has given me a lot of hope and felt empowering to know that there are ways to take action. So I would encourage you to find some way to do service or take action on something that is meaningful to you and in a way that makes sense.
Good morning. Today I get to talk to you about CDS teams, which arrive as soon as clearance is given after a disaster. In family assistance centers and local assistance centers, there are often a plethora of agencies and services made available to the survivors. One of them you can see in the lower picture there is the therapy dogs, who are so gentle and wonderful. We do not know until we get there if we will be in a shelter, on a cot, or in other housing. I have stayed in a church fellowship hall, an apartment that was being renovated, a hotel, and have driven back and forth from home each day. Sometimes multiple venues in the same deployment. The apartment housing setup had 6 to 8 blow-up mattresses, and while there was no other furniture, it had a bathroom and a kitchen. My roommates were a Red Cross volunteer and several CDS volunteers. This is an example of a Red Cross cot. I have learned to always take an air mattress and bedding on deployments. It makes the cots more bearable. I've also learned that the FEMA cots are superior to the Red Cross ones. You know where the money is. This is an example of shelter housing. This church social hall housed about 20 CDS and Red Cross volunteers. My bed with my mattress is the tallest one. We often deploy through Red Cross. CDS volunteers deploy with kits of comfort, which are 50-pound suitcases filled with books, toys, manipulatives, etc., that are set out for the kids to play with. Because we have Kathy DeRamus, Mary Kay Ogden, Linda Dorja, and several other CDS volunteers here at church, we have several kits packed and ready to go. And it's also a good thing to have agencies that have boxes we can commandeer for the kids to play in. They make refrigerators, microwaves, rocket ships, etc. It's always a good thing to have them. These kids have been through trauma, and it's so wonderful to give them space and time to play. Sometimes they reenact their experience, but mostly they just get creative. And since we have kids ranging in age from about 2 to about 12 years old, we have a variety of games, toys, and manipulatives, etc. And if we were outside, we'd set up water play. Our job is to interact with the kids and to help them care and give them care and comfort through play. And so sometimes you're the patient to the doctor. Lots of trust is shared in our centers. It's fun to watch the kids play with each other. They may come in apprehensive, but they usually relax and participate. A lot of them have lost even their schools, so it's good to have a play place. And if you are wondering if you are too young or too old to take training and volunteer, this is Beryl, who was 88 when she deployed to Hawaii for 3 weeks. All you need is a love and respect for kids and their situations. In California, most of our disasters are fire-related. However, we can be called to any state where help is needed. I have been to Hawaii, North Carolina, and California. And some kids have tragic stories even prior to the disaster. Some kids want to play alone with someone close by, and others want company. We almost always get involved in their play. The kitchen center is always played with, and we are customers in many restaurants. The CDS workers and the kids equally benefit each other. There's such a beauty in trust and reliance. And also, guys, some of the best interactions I have seen have been with our male volunteers. Play-Doh, shaving cream, and magnetic blocks are hugely popular. Sometimes we see the same kids day after day, and sometimes it's only one day. Every deployment I have been on, we have had kids cry because they didn't want to leave. Our centers range from inside spaces, which can be a room or the corner of a shelter, to being outside, and we set up wherever we can, so we're there when the kids need us. This is one of the survivors' shelters in North Carolina after the hurricane. It housed hundreds of people, including the kids we serviced. And as you can see, the kids need a space where they can play and get some positive stimulation and interaction. Now, even CDS volunteers need to decompress and get silly, and this picture is a story for another time. But I would recommend that if you have an interest in helping with this vital service, you talk to a volunteer and sign up for the training, which will be here at the church on March 14th and 15th. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. And if you want to know more about that last slide, come to the spiritual formation session, and we'll learn more. But thank you, Janice. Thank you, Deb. And also thanks to Hannah. I'm a bit curious as I have listened to these stories, but also going back to learning about a seagoing cowboy in our church. I want to know how many others have served in various capacities. Who has been a BVS, or a Brethren Volunteer Service? Raise your hand. Wonderful. Who has gone on Brethren Disaster Service trips? Who has done training for children's disaster services? Very good. Wow. And then finally, to bring it closer to home, we can serve in other ways. This morning, our children served us, and they're learning about the value of service. So who has contributed or been a part of our canned food collection Sunday? Right, it's all of us. We each have something to share. Service is not limited by age or gender or status in any way, but also disaster touches everyone. So let us serve with love in all that we can do. And I think we'll discover something about ourselves, but also about those with whom we walk alongside. I am, you are, we all are Christ's body here on earth. And we're called by God to love and to serve. We're called to help equip each other. So let us open our eyes and our hearts to see and act upon the many ways that we can come alongside our neighbors, near and far, seeking to share and to receive God's love through acts of service. Let us go forth in love.
We're so glad that you listened to the message today. If you're looking for an open and affirming, peace-loving, and justice-seeking congregation, consider visiting us for in-person worship on Sundays at 9:30 a.m. We'd love to meet you.